Good afternoon to everyone who's here today. How lovely it is to see a crowd here after a very long time. We hope a few more of our students will be joining us as the session progresses. We are here today to mark the inaugural session of the first symposium of the Indian Writing in English project, Indian Writing in English online project, which we call IWE online. Today is special because we will be looking at the unveiling of the IWE online website after a year or more of a very careful curatorial process which has involved interacting with publishers, writers, careful curation of what could go up in a website that seeks to be the first of its kind in being a scholarly resource for students, for the layperson interested in reading Indian writing in English, for the professor who's looking for teaching resources, apart from offering a careful curated set of texts from across genres. Professor Anna Kurian, the investigator, will of course be explaining more about the project when she takes the stage. You all have the agenda for today. Without further ado, I think we should begin with the inaugural session. First, I would like to invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Vijay Rao, the Dean Humanities in charge, Professor Prabhakar Rao, and the Director, Institution of Eminence, Professor Dayanand, to please occupy the chairs of the dais. Professor Anna Kurian, the investigator of the project and head, Department of English, will now welcome us all and explain what this project is all about.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I would like to welcome all of you. Already Meenakshi has welcomed you once, but I would like to welcome all of you once again to the inaugural for the IWE Online Symposium, but also equally, if not more importantly, to the unveiling of the IWE Online website. It is something, as Meenakshi said, that we've been working on for just over a year. And it is a great honor for us to have Professor Vijay Rao here today, the Vice Chancellor. He will be unveiling the website, and we hope he will speak a few words to us. We are also delighted and honored to have with us the IWE Director, Professor Dayanand, and the Dean in charge of the Humanities, Professor Prabhakar Rao. In the audience, I see many familiar faces, colleagues, students, research scholars, friends. And it is a particular delight that so many of you have come. It's one of the few functions which which we have begun making in person, face to face, and that you could come with mask, without mask, with COVID protocol or not, that you came is an honor for all of us. I would at this point also like to indicate that the welcome is not just from my side, but from the IWE online team, which includes Pramod Nair as co-PI and Meenakshi and Atul as our project assistants. So on behalf of all of us, I welcome all of you. I would also like to at this point welcome Professor Crystal Devadasan, our first speaker for the symposium, who has flown down from Delhi. Her first travel after 2.25 years almost. So it is in many ways a gathering which is taking place, COVID interrupted, COVID postponed, but nonetheless taking place today. And we are so pleased that so many of you came for this occasion. The second part, after the welcome, I am supposed to tell you about the project and what we have done. I would like to begin with a little bit of history. It's also kind of personal history, anecdotal history, in the sense that the IWE online project began not as a website, but as an anthology. It began because I wanted to teach Indian writing in English many years ago, more than 15 years ago, nearly 20 years ago. And when I looked around for materials all in one place, there was nothing. Like, there is no anthology for Indian writing in English, there is no website for Indian writing in English. And when we think of the fact that in the canon for English literature as it is taught across India, most periods or most national canons all have websites. It was a strange anomaly that we have nothing. You could find some occasional websites here and there, blogs usually. You would find entries on major authors such as Salman Rushdie in other websites devoted to, say, the post-colonial or to English literature. But you would never find anything which was entirely only for Indian writing in English. This began at that point, around 2005, when we decided that we should try at least to make an anthology. And so we tried. Over the years, we wrote to every major publisher across this country and abroad, saying, please, we will edit an anthology. Every major publisher said copyright costs will be enormous. No, thank you. So then we kept postponing it, we kept putting it off. And today, when we have a website coming up, it seems particularly fit for the times because fewer and fewer of our students consult anthologies, however authoritative and definitive they might be. Fewer and fewer go to the libraries to consult these anthologies. What they do consult is, what they do is a Google for Indian writing in English, the thing that turns up, here we go. So in this context, what we are doing now is fitted for the times as well. And both Pramod and I think that what we are doing is an academic resource from an Indian university, and that is one of our trademarks, that we wanted it to be a university-backed website, not a website which is .com, but a .ac.in website. And we are again grateful to our Vice Chancellor for giving us the permission for that. Now, when we thought about what was necessary, what we wanted was an academic site, not a gut criticism kind of site, which is what a lot of us, when we talk about Indian writing in English, do, which is we feel it because it is ours. It is in the experiential mode. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that because we know the text, we know the context. This is our India. We know what we are talking about. But we wanted a site that is both scholarly as well as academic. And we wanted also to give the definitive primary text. So on our website, which you will see when the Vice Chancellor unveils it, we have sections devoted to primary text, where we have sought copyright, we have paid for it, and we have put it up, so that the texts are the definitive and authoritative texts for Indian writing in English. We also provide critical material for the same, so that a person who has read a text can also find out something about the author, as well as where the author is placed in the canon. So we have survey and genre essays, as well as critical biographical essays on particular authors. At this point in time, this is about what we have. When we applied for the project under the IWE, we had said that at the end of the second year, we would unveil the website. This is a little premature in many ways, but it is also that there is material and it is already in the shape of a website, and so we thought that it was time to do so. Now, where we plan to go from here, we have and we hope to have audiovisual materials. So the symposium that follows upon this inaugural will be also a material making process, in the sense that every lecture, every panel discussion will be recorded and will be placed on our YouTube channel, which is affiliated to the IWE online project. We are also planning to have poets reading aloud their poetry, authors reading aloud from their texts. So that's some more of that. But we also have, and this is something we are particularly excited about, the early periodicals which were built around Indian writing in English, which was then a nascent canonical literary field. We want to put up, as in our archives, we want to put up some of those periodicals, early periodicals from India. So we hope to have Chandrabhaga and Vagartha in the future on our website. We also hope, and this is of course a large section of what we want to do teaching resources. How do you teach Indian writing in English? Not just in the simple way of saying that this is India and look, you can see these themes and so on and so forth, but particular angles which might be applicable to the teaching of Indian writing in English. We hope to have that as well. So that's how this website came to be. And of course, we are hugely indebted to the IOE project of the university. But it's also where we see ourselves going in the next year, 2 years or more. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good time at the inaugural and later on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna ma'am. I now invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor B.J. Rao, to please address the gathering.
It's a real special privilege to be part of this interesting gathering. Indian writing in English. When I heard this first, I was wondering what this would really mean. To me, this meant many, many things. When Indians speak English, there are many genres in it. You really cannot capture it in one theme. But when Indian English scholars write English, there is a style and substance to it. And of course, you can capture it. I suppose it is the latter. But when you really want to write Indian English, the way it is written and the way it is spoken in different parts of the country, I think that will be much more mosaic and much more colorful if a project can be envisaged about it. Because we Indians think about our ideas, our thoughts first in our language, and then it comes out in one version of English. And that version of English, when you practice very well, it becomes a scholarly English. So there are different stages in which our English metamorphoses into a version that you are trying to capture. And therefore, in some sense, this is a very interesting, profound topic to elaborate on in future as well. This is Symposium 1 and spanning about 6 days, 5th April to 11th April. So it's a long, good adventure. And I have looked at the titles, and they're very exciting titles. History Making Heroes, 3 Cases and Some Questions. Archiving Post-Independent Indian Pictorial Satire. I think this will be very interesting. And, sexual dissidence and English literature in English. Indian literature in English. I think they are very interesting topics. I'm sure all the audience will get glued to these topics and enjoy this. Very interesting take-homes you will come out with. So I really feel privileged to be standing here and inaugurating this 5-day or 6-day symposium. I thank all of you, maybe Anna and Pramod, the major culprits, to bring me here. I enjoy it, and I need to sort of unveil a portal now, looks like, after some time. Okay, so thank you very much. And this is our post-pandemic first break-in. So, even though it is very hot, we have our esteemed guest from Delhi. Thank you very much, madam, for coming by in this hot weather. We want to be welcoming you more often in future, and more of you and more often in future. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao. We hope that the symposium and the project as such will be able to capture some of the plurality of the language that you've spoken about. Next, I'd like to invite Professor Prabhakar Rao, Dean Humanities in Charge, to please address the gathering.
Good afternoon to everyone. Actually, when I saw this Indian writing in English, the objectives explained by Professor Anna Collier are very innovative, and I know that English department in general and Anna and Pramod, they work very innovatively and coming up with new ideas always, because I had a chance to work with Pramod, share some of the ideas with regard to the digital humanities, etc. In that sense, this project is also quite innovative, though there were number of great deal of work has been done in Indian writing in English, but the objectives and the topics that we see here, as it was mentioned by Honorable Vice Chancellor, are quite innovative, and on behalf of the School of Humanities, I wish success, and it is a very daring step to have 6-day symposium, especially these days. And I also welcome our guest, Professor Crystal Devadasan from Delhi. On behalf of School of Humanities, we welcome ma'am. And I wish success in this project. And I hope that this project will definitely serve as a premier one in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I invite the director, IWE, Professor Dayanand, to address the gathering next.
Good afternoon, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor B.J. Rao, my good friend Professor Prabhakar Rao, and colleagues Pramod and Anna Korean. And it is very, very difficult to stand in front of the English professors. I have nothing to do with this conference except that I hold position of Director, Institute of Eminence. I feel like a thread in the garland. Neither I am flower which emits fragrance, nor I am the person who holds the garland. I am just a thread which keeps all of them together. Being part of thread, I also get the fragrance. Neither I formulated the activities that are there in the DPR of IWE, nor I was associated in granting this project just because I am holding now the position of directorship. I am part of this. I am very delighted to be here, and I wish the organizers all the best. I congratulate them for this wonderful job. Before actually concluding my remarks, I just would like to tell one biological phenomenon which highlights the current pandemic situations. Viruses are not there only for human beings. Viruses are there for all parts of living organisms, including bacteria. The bacteriophages, the viruses of bacteria, once they infect, they kill the bacteria and lyse them, and then they keep on going, multiplying and infecting other bacteria. In the process, bacteria takes sometimes, instead of viral DNA, bacterial DNA, and laterally moves it to another bacteria. And this event, which is called horizontal gene transfer, gives genesis for the birth of a new life, altogether a new bacteria. The COVID pandemic has given us wonderful opportunity to excel even without coming to institutions. The work from home culture has gone up, and instead of seminars we have webinars, and now seminars can be conducted in a blended mode. And earlier people used to say, I am busy, I cannot come, but now you have no opportunity. People insist you to participate online. So most of the conferences henceforth will be blended, not offline. So this way, you have created a wonderful online resource, bringing all the Indian English writings and making the rest of the world know about the Indian writers' contribution in English, which is very, very important. And I wish all the best. I am sure in coming week or so, it will be intellectual feast to the humanities school. Thank you very much.
The next order of business is the main event of the day, the unveiling of the IWE online website. While we set the stage for the unveiling, I would request the Vice Chancellor, the Dean in charge, and the Director IOE to please occupy the chairs in the first row. This is the home page of our website. And as the VC explored the website, I thought I'd do a small explanation here as to what he's actually going through. So this is the foundational essay for the entire website written by Professor K. Chandran. So it gives you a long detailed overview of the language and the social history in India. All of the content on this website has been written exclusively for it. So we have over here an archive of original critical material with references, of course. Yes, no, those of which are online references are clickable. So if you just scroll up to the menu on the top, you'll see that all the different sections of the website will be available there. Yes, we have a separate section for critical biographies which we commissioned from various academics across India and abroad working on Indian writing in English. And you can see these are accompanied by beautiful portraits of writers which have also been commissioned for the site exclusively. So if you click on any of these writers, the names, okay. This will take you to the essay on Yunus D'Souza, a critical biography. So this would be both academic and it would give you some information on the biography of the writer. At the bottom, you'll also find that after the references, we just tagged the poems by the author that we have on the site. They're right below the essay. If you just scroll down a bit more. So we have Feed the Poet Christmas, Women in Touch Painting, Read Yunus D'Souza. So these are actually poems that we've taken permission for from the publishers and we've archived on the website with permission from Penguin. So yes, go back to the top and then we can go to the other sections if you like. Yeah, so these are longish essays which are not critical biographies but actually explore a particular genre or theme in Indian writing. So these would give you a survey of the history of the genre along with critiques of certain important works in the genre. These are all essays that have been commissioned for the website, so they wouldn't be found anywhere else. Yes, we've just started setting up the website. A lot of these essays are being reviewed right now because they have to clear a very extensive peer review system before they can be put up on the website. And we're also doing this in a staggered fashion, so every week we put up a few essays. These are a couple of journals that we've written for copyright permissions and we hope to be receiving them soon. These are journals that we happen to have access to and we thought we could put up issues. They are two of the pioneering literary journals in India that have people like Nissim Ezekiel, for example, who've written for them. So we thought it would only be right to list all the contributors who've written for the website first. So this contains a list of all the contributors, all the artists, and of course our website tech support. Yes, so on the main page, if you click on any of the icons there, it will take you to the home page, and at the bottom you have the contact form which has an About IWE section which is linked to the IWE website. It's not on the IWE website yet, but that's a good idea, so we'll get there. We have our symposium brochures up and we hope to be putting up all the lectures that will take place. Right. Thank you so much. Alright, so that was the unveiling. I think we are at the end of this inaugural session. To wrap up this session, after this, of course, we'll be having our talk in the afternoon by Professor Crystal Dawson. That will be the first lecture of the series. But to wrap up this inaugural session, I invite Professor Pramod K. Nair, the co-PI, for the vote of thanks.
As you can see, I have a very long list of people to thank. 2 sides in 12 font, 1.5. The problem with trying to thank everybody for a project such as this is that one runs the risk of drowning people in alphabetical anonymity. I shall try not to do that. Primary thanks to Professor Vijay Rao, Vice Chancellor, for inaugurating the symposium and unveiling the website, which, as Anna said, is the world's first website for Indian writing in English. The greetings which we received from Professor Raju, who could not be with us today, and the Dean of Humanities, both of them, but thanks to Professor Prabhakar Rao, officiating Dean, Director Professor Dayananda, who said he doesn't know why he's here, but we do know. We know, even if you don't. The IWE project itself for funding this, members of the audience here, in specific reference to Dr. Devesh Nigam, Registrar, for finding the time. I suspect a relief from his many meetings to get away for at least a few minutes. The IWE team and its staff, starting with Professor Dayanand, present team, I can see Professor Ghanshyam Krishna is here, so thank you. Mahesh, Shweta, Riyaz, Nikhil, Sadiq, and Madhu from the IWE office. To Kailash, Sharmishta, Devashish, special thanks to all of you for surviving with me. To Chandrasekhar, Alok, and Fanindra also for the time spent on the IWE project. To Mr. Treasury, Dr. Lokanand Reddy, without whom nothing can happen, as our Vice Chancellor will testify, for his cooperation and advice. The Office of the Dean, School of Humanities, and its office staff, Mr. Arshad, Mr. Srinivas, Mr. Suryanarayan, and Mr. Pawan. The principal architects of this massive project, what Anna omitted to mention, we thought of this as a pet project, except that the pet turned out to be a mastodon, and it simply grows and grows. The Vice Chancellor has just given us 2 more ideas to add to what is already a fairly large project. But yes, it could not have been possible but for our contributors, our reviewers who have done exceptional work in reviewing the essays, because we were very clear we didn't want this to be just one more website with material randomly uploaded. So it had to have at least the semblance of a journal, though it's not strictly speaking a journal, but all the other appurtenances of a journal, which means a review process. So thanks to our contributors and our reviewers from all over the world, our consultants, Professor Narayana Chandran and Dr. Graziano Karatli of Yale University, the librarian there, our social media strategist and designer, Richa Chadda. That's where our biggest problem has been, because considering that Anna and I are on anti-social media, to have social media presence was a contradiction in terms. And we were then told, no, this just won't do. And we have occasionally seen Meenakshi and Atul tear out their hair. Why don't you people understand? But we thought we understand enough. We don't need to understand even this in addition to everything else. Friends of the Department of English, I see Arvind is here, Kanchan is here, have always been extremely supportive, Sheila now. Special thanks to the Raiprol family, Professor Aparna Raiprol and Professor Vinod Pavrala, because the Raiprol poems are already up and a critical essay on Srinivas Raiprol's poetry. Why we are offering a special thanks is not only for their permission, which they granted us, but also because the Raiprol family has run the Raiprol Prize annually for Indian poetry in English with the Department of English. It's the only prize of its kind for poetry in India, and we have now run it for 10 years. So that's a unique contribution, and we are extremely grateful to the Raiprol family and trust for enabling this. The various publishers who gave us their material for hosting, Penguin, HarperCollins, Rupa, Yoda, Kokachi Studio, Wiley, Writers Workshop, who gave it to us more or less in timely fashion, quite a few of them for free, others over some payment. Our exceptional designers, Rick, Guru, Shreyans, Laboni I thought is here, and Sharon for designing the posters. These were all commissioned. The theme of the essay needed an image to go with it, we were told, something we have, and I have not quite got our head around. So they were commissioned to draw thematic images. I'm sure Crystal will have several things to say about images since she works on cartoons and comics. Our local support system from the department, Rajmati, Shravan and Raghu. Special thanks to the friendship and support of Dr. Sirisha Telugu, Dr. Bhaskar Lama and Dr. Sharandu Bhattacharya. Thank you for that. And our numerous well-wishers who have sent in their good wishes for the success of the project. Daniel Roberts from Queen's University, Belfast, and alumnus of the department. Professor Bharati Harishankar, alumnus and currently Vice Chancellor of Avinashlingam University. Duty Mittal, who has joined us and will be here tomorrow morning. Our project assistants, Meenakshi, Atul, the volunteers, Saurav, Ekta, Manoj, Pratiti, Akshata, Rajdeep, Supratik, Arjun, Noah. I'm not sure I left out anybody here. If so, apologies in advance. And of course, as the Vice Chancellor said, my fellow conspirator and culprit, Anna Kurian. Thank you all.